Hello, dear student, myself Dr. Surekha Jaiswal, Moreshwar College, Bhokardan, District Jalna. Today we will see Modern and Nuclear Physics. Paper code number 202, paper number 8, semester 3rd. Now, today's content are nuclear chain reaction, sustained chain reaction, and atomic bomb or nuclear bomb. Now see nuclear chain reaction. A nuclear chain reaction occurs when one single nuclear reaction causes an average of one or more subsequent nuclear reactions, thus leading to the possibility of a self-propagating series of these reactions. The specific nuclear reaction may be the fission of heavy isotope, for example uranium 235. The nuclear chain reaction several million times more energy per reaction than any chemical reaction. The neutron reduced fission reaction is the reaction in which the incident neutron fissionable nucleus forming a compound nucleus that is excited to such a high energy level that the nucleus split into two large fission fragments. A large amount of energy is released in the form of radiation and fragment kinetic energy. The fission process may produce 2, 3 or more free neutrons. The nuclear chain reaction occurs when one single nuclear reaction causes an average of one or more subsequent nuclear reactions. The fission process is initiated by a neutron striking a large fissionable nucleus. The neutrons released in the process strike over fissionable nuclei in turn and induce fission in them. The average number of neutrons emitted per one thermal neutron absorbed is about 2.5. This abundant emission of neutron enhance the possibility of fission occurring in more nuclei. If each of the new neutrons induces fission in neighboring nuclei, the number of fission will grow commutatively at each successive stage at a rapid rate. For example, let us say that 3 neutrons are emitted in a uranium fission act. The 3 neutrons could produce fission in 3 more uranium nuclei as shown in figure C. Now, the 3 neutrons would produce fission in 3 more uranium nuclei. The 3 raised to 2 neutrons emitted by the nuclei would produce 9 fissions, and the 3 raised to 3 neutron from this fission would produce 27 fission, and the resulting 3 raised to 4 equal to 81 neutrons would produce 81 fission, and 3 raised to 5 that is equal to 243 neutrons would produce 243 fission, and so on. This process is called a chain reaction. It is depicted in figure. A nuclear chain reaction may be defined as the process in which the number of neutrons goes on multiplying rapidly in a geometrical progression till the total fissionable nuclei are fission. Now, how you define a nuclear chain reaction? A nuclear chain reaction may be defined as the process in which the number of neutrons goes on multiplying rapidly in geometrical progression till the total fissionable nuclei or fission. Now, sustained chain reaction. In practice, not all neutrons produced in fission participate in further fission, and some of them are lost as a result of the following three processes. First, capture of neutrons by uranium which not led in fission. Second, capture of neutrons by other nuclei in the sample and escape out of the sample without being captured. These losses affect the course of chain reaction. A chain reaction that proceed at one and even rate is called sustained chain reaction. Now, in sustained chain reaction, all neutrons produced in fission participate in further fission and the following three process, that is capture of neutrons by uranium which not led in fission and capture of neutrons by other nuclei in the sample and escape out of the sample without being captured. These losses affect the course of chain reaction, and a chain reaction that proceeds at an even rate is called sustained chain reaction. The first criterion of sustained chain reaction to occur is that there must be a sufficient amount of the fissionable material present. Otherwise, neutrons would escape from the sample before interacting with the nucleus and chain reaction would not proceed. The amount of fissionable material is in a certain volume necessary to sustain a chain reaction is called critical mass. The amount of fissionable material is in a certain volume necessary to sustain a chain reaction is called critical mass. And the second criterion to be fulfilled is that the neutron multiplication factor should be equal to unity. The chain reaction becomes self-sustaining if for every one neutron absorbed, at least one fission neutron becomes available in the second generation for causing fission in one or more nucleus. This condition is expressed in terms of neutron multiplication factor, which is also known as neutron breeding coefficient K, where K equal to number of neutrons in any one generation upon number of neutrons in immediate preceding generation. The chain reaction will be self-sustaining when K equal to 1. Where K is a neutron breeding coefficient K, and that is a equal to number of neutrons in any one generation upon number of neutrons in immediate preceding generation, and the chain reaction will be self-sustaining when K equal to 1. When the above criteria are satisfied, there will be a favorable balance between the net production of neutrons by fission and the loss of neutron due to the various reasons, and the chain reaction occurs at an even rate. When K is less than 1, each new generation of neutrons produce a decreasing number of fission acts, and the reaction terminates soon for want neutrons. In such a case, the system is said to be subcritical, and when K is greater than 1, each new generation of neutrons produce an increasing number of fission acts, and chain reaction becomes uncontrollable. It builds up, quickly developing into a blast accompanied by the liberation of enormous energy and a rise of temperature of the surrounding medium to several million degrees. In that case, the system is said to be supercritical. Now, when K is less than 1, in case each new generation of neutron produces a decreasing number of fission acts, and the reaction terminates soon for want neutrons. In such a case, the system is said to be subcritical, and when K is greater than 1, then each new generation of neutrons produce an increasing number of fission acts, and chain reaction become uncontrollable. It builds up, quickly developing into a blast accompanied by the liberation of enormous energy and a rise of temperature of the surrounding medium to several millions degrees. In that case, the system is said to be supercritical. Now see atomic bomb or nuclear bomb. The principle of fission is made use of in the construction of the atomic bomb. An atomic bomb consists essentially of two pieces of uranium-235 or plutonium-239, each smaller than the critical size and source of neutron. The two subcritical masses of uranium-235 in the form of hemisphere are kept apart using a separator aperture. When the bomb has to be exploded, a third well-fitting cylinder of uranium-235 is propelled so that it will fit it fused together with the total quantity of uranium-235 is greater than the critical mass. Hence, an uncontrolled chain reaction takes place. The atom bomb is best on the process of nuclear fission. In this process, uncontrolled chain reaction takes place and a huge amount of energy is released in very short time. The fissionable material used are uranium 235 and plutonium 239 and low energy or thermal neutron. Here it is essential that the mass of material should be more than the critical mass. The atomic bomb consists of two pieces of uranium 235 or uranium 239 seen figure, that is subcritical uranium 235 mass is kept here as shown in figure. The atomic bomb consists of two pieces of uranium 235 or uranium 239 enveloped in a cover of very dense substance as shown in figure. Mass of each piece is somewhat greater than half the critical value of that. When both are put together, total mass is greater than the critical mass. Since the mass of each piece is small than the critical mass, both the pieces are perfectly stable and safe when they are separated from each other. Now to explore atom bomb, the two pieces are mixed by some mechanism. Now the total quantity of the material is greater than the critical mass and a violent chain reaction takes place. This results in terrific explosion in which a huge amount of energy is released. During the explosion in the temperature of the order of 10 raised to 9 degrees Celsius and a pressure of several million atmosphere is developed. Consequently, all the objects and living creatures within region of several kilometers are completely destroyed. When atomic bomb is exploded, a large quantity of energy in the form of heat and radiation, a temperature of millions of degrees and a pressure of millions of atmosphere are produced. Such explosion produce shock waves. They are very dangerous because the waves spread radioactivity in air and causes loss of life, and the release of dangerously radioactive gamma rays, neutrons and radioactive material present a health hazard over the surrounding for long time. Thank you.